Hi there, this is the demo setup for my project The Glass Revolution. It's a demonstration of a technology that can enable carbon-free building and construction and manufacturing of all kinds of stuff. The idea is that you use a Fresnel lens to focus solar heat to a very small point, and in that point you can melt metal, glass, steel, whatever you want, and pour it into shapes, and then basically that would allow you to work in the desert and simply use what's around the sand to build anything you like. Once the technology is developed, of course, you have to basically look into it and do a little bit of work and investment. The aim is to have a demonstration project in hopefully Morocco or something like that this summer, with a bigger lens than this one, but this is the test setup. So in order to make this work, or simply to do the demonstration of the control of this system, and then of course the effects of the heat, and basically making it look more real, and actually demonstrating it, is that of course I have a wooden frame in which I have mounted the spot focus Fresnel lens. That has to be actuated somehow. So the method I came up with is this. It's a 4 RPM motor that I usually use in a kind of a worm wheel type construction, but I basically lack the gears and the materials for that. So I use it simply. I have a rod around which I basically wind a wire, and the wire is attached to the frame. And if you look in this picture, then you can see that here, so on the bottom side of the frame there's simply a hook to which this wire is attached, and then I can rotate this axle and pull the frame into let's say the vertical frame, or if I unwind it, then it will pull away because of the weight of the top of the frame. So it's not balanced, it's slightly out of balance, and that works actually pretty well. Because this is a 4 RPM motor, so it will have internally lots of rotations for each. It takes 15 seconds to do one turn if it's a 4 RPM motor, and so you can wind this in and out really slowly, which means that you can also determine the angle of the frame very precisely, and that works very well as long as let's say the frame is mounted in a way that it can move freely and it doesn't have any bumps or whatever. So I already tried it and it works pretty well. I'm going to do that for the vertical axis as well. So I have another one of these, and I'm probably going to tape it here with the duct tape, just like I did here, and that just all saves a lot of hassle to do it that way. And it's actually not that bad of an idea for the practical application. So if this is a 1x1 or 2x2 meter huge metal frame, then it might still be interesting to simply use an electrical motor and a winch with a let's say a metal cable, not too thick, to do this movement. It's not. It's a very inexpensive way of doing it. Of course it beats the price of having gears with teeth and all that stuff. It's much cheaper, and it works just as well in terms of precision. So this is a demonstration of the awesome power of a Fresnel lens, which of course immediately vaporizes the wood, and you cannot really see it because I don't have sunglasses for my camera. But these are, let's say, gases that are very flammable usually, and in this focus point it will immediately burn. I think in this picture I just took it out of the focus a little bit, so then you get the smoke, but once it is in focus, and it's really tiny focal point, which is nice, and I think that is a testament to the quality of the lens. It's really a spot of a square millimeter or something like that. That's very precise. That is of course also dependent on whether you make a good rigid frame with the right angles and etc. But it's also a function of the quality of the lens, and of course it's a huge determinant of the use of the utility of the heat, because of course the precision of the concentration determines whether you can use the heat, because it determines the temperature you reach. I've got a few experiments that I'm thinking about to do, because of course this is Holland and it's a small lens, so you say, okay, you cannot melt metal here in Holland, but I'm thinking about trying a way in which you could do it, and then and that sounds like it's not possible, but I think it is, or it might be, I'm not sure. But then I would basically take a copper coin or something like that and melt it with this small lens, even with this small lens. But so this is my update. It's way too long already again, but on the next video I hope I can show you the whole thing moving automatically, but I just have to hook up the wires and hook up the threads and all that stuff, and I have a very busy schedule today, so I won't be able to do that today. But thanks for listening, and I hope you support the project. I really need a little bit of funding to do this on a larger scale, and of course I can use all the help and the enthusiasm that people might have to support this idea of using molten sand and molten, basically just molten sand, that's what it's about, to as a construction material, and using these type of devices to melt it and shape it. And of course if you apply some new age, not new age, but modern technology to it, some motor control, some chips and some microprocessors, then you can make an awesome type of MakerBot on a very useful real-life skill, and you can circumvent all the carbon costs that are usually involved in a building process and a construction process. Thanks for listening.